and welcome to the Middlemen on Enterprise TV. I am Juro Cyril Abaku, and with me on the show today are Juro Emeka Madunago, who will be taking a close look at Nigeria's food problems, Juro Evans Ufeli, who will be suggesting new ways of living, and Juro Olajumoke Alawode James, who will be examining the undying spirit of the 2020 NSAS protests. I will be examining the auguries of August, but all of that will be in just a moment. Stay with us.
Middleman.
You're welcome back to the Middlemen. I begin with a conversation. Julius Caesar said in William Shakespeare's eponymous play, "Who is it in the press that calls on me? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music cry, Caesar. Speak, Caesar is turned to hear." Then the soothsayer says, "Beware the Ides of March." Caesar responded, "What man is that?" Brutus intervened. He says, "A soothsayer bids you beware the Ides of March." Then Caesar says, "Set him before me. Let me see his face." Cassius then says, "Fellow, come from the throne. Look upon Caesar." Caesar then asks, "What sayest thou to me now? Speak once again." The soothsayer says, "Beware the Ides of March." Caesar says, "He is a dreamer. Let us leave him. Pass. My case, the auguries of August. The House of Representatives has served the Women Affairs Minister, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, a query. They could not understand how she supposedly spent 45 million naira for a New Year party and 20 million naira for sanitary pads. Plus, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye is also said to have spent 1.5 million naira on fueling vehicles. When you hear these amounts, the coming month of August should give you concern, unlike the way Julius Caesar dismissed his own query and paid for it with his life. A protest is approaching, slated for August 1. Are we ready for the auguries of August? Or are we only going to keep fiddling with foolish expenditures like Nero, rather than brace for the auguries? My verdict: dear government, wake up before you are woken up. I so rule.
Minister Uju, where's my sanitary pad?
I was going to add to the Shakespeare line that what can be avoided, whose end is proposed by the Almighty. Yet Caesar shall go forth, for this prediction is made to the world in general and as to Caesar. And I would therefore say that the entire country must be on their period, including men of this country, before we can spend 20 million naira on sanitary pad. That means 200 million people are on their periods. That might be a national concern. Because of the only way an epidemic of hemorrhage. Yeah, the only way we will justify that spending is that all of us were in our period. But it's not scientifically possible. It's not scientifically possible. So it means that this August auguries we're talking about, that we're looking at, I mean, the government is taking it lightly because they believe the police will tame the people.
Oh, they will be shocked.
And they also believe that this is maybe like the NSAS protest. But I dare say that the NSAS protest didn't start because people were hungry. People were, but that was not the reason.
Yeah.
People were being killed unnecessarily. But when a protest is instigated by hunger, you may be looking at the case of the last samurai, where the masses were being shot at. The more you shoot at them, the more they were advancing. The more you shoot at them, the more they were advancing, to the point where the soldiers
run away.
No, what the soldiers did was, after killing all of them, the soldiers dropped their own arms and knelt down and bowed for the public for such bravery, because the soldiers don't even have such bravery. So this spending and this extravagance that the poor people are looking at, and there's nothing in for them, is a conflagration is an imminent one. And the government seems not to be aware, because even the federal government, they have also said that they are buying private jets. We have also seen what they have spent so far before now, and I just pray for this country.
Frankly, can only pray because you can't believe the back and forth the minister had with the House of Reps committee.
Yes.
That she was interfacing with. In fact, it looked like she came there to bully them.
She was
it nearly ran into fisticuffs. So the way they were going back and forth,
very dismissive of what has
But how do you plan a New Year, a big Christmas party with 45 million?
I was asking whether they have branches, one in Kaduna, one in
there must be branches.
Who is going to wake this Tinubu administration up? Who is going to knock on? Well, maybe the August protest, maybe they will eventually wake up. The people are very, very angry. There will be small protests here and there.
Yes.
That they will come. They will send the police and military and disperse people. But like my case will eventually say, you cannot hold all of us. If we say, they say if you cook for 20 people, they will finish. If 20 people cook for you, if the entire Nigerian population cooks for this government, they will regret coming to office.
It's going to be a bad breakfast.
You know, yes, says a lot about our recruitment process. We keep recruiting hungry people. Even people we think have the money. People we think have schooled abroad. But there is this thing about Nigerian politicians that talk so much about depravity. You know,
poverty mentality.
I will look at it more as depravity than poverty because these people are not poor.
They're not poor.
These people are not in want.
So is that virus?
It beyond that is depravity. It's beyond such that it is as if there is a competition, you know, to outdo, you know, each other in stealing. Otherwise, why can't you have people who will go to government and serve? Follow laid-out procedures. Make sure that there is transparency.
True.
Any way you spend money can be seen. Can you say you spend such and such amount on sanitary pads? And what was the production of all the companies producing sanitary pads in Nigeria? What was the production for that period? Even the imported was that government alone
spent 3 million.
What it shows that we have got to a level where
we don't even care.
People in politics that don't just care, they are not ashamed.
They are not ashamed, yes.
They are naked, but they are not ashamed. They have lost sense of shame. And it is a big tragedy.
Please, where are the people they gave the sanitary pad?
They didn't
they can't account for it again. It is still low.
Like the woman that fed school children. The court have made a pronouncement that
she should return our money.
Account for it.
But you know, the excuse they gave them was that the people that took the money said that they are too ashamed that they have pride. Do you think that somebody will come on TV and say, I do sanitary pad?
But that woman, when she was sharing 20,000, Buhari's Minister of Finance, when she was sharing 20,000 during the COVID lockdown, they showed us on TV.
They lined up on the paper.
So, but we counted, and by the time she came back 2 weeks after, billions. Like, how many people did you give the money to? We saw it on TV.
Yes, and even the register that they use is a call to question.
Where is it?
There is a female journalist. There's a female journalist who has been involved in this sanitary pad campaign. And everything she has done has been...
Nobody has given her anything. I know
everything she has done has been in the open.
Accountability, transparency.
We are looking for those who got the
they really call her.
And there is
exactly.
Use a structure to use government is involved in right sanitary for women on the street.
Rather than building infrastructure.
Government.
Is it not the same government that wanted to have what is this American show? They wanted to have the Grammy Awards. They wanted to have an African Grammy. Instead of creating their own, so they saw that the lady, you know, they must have heard somehow, somebody has been sharing something. So instead of calling the lady, you know, to serve people, because they know they are not the person sharing any sacrifice, then they just copied her idea.
And I was nothing about going to partnership with the companies, maybe give them tax relief and something. So
all they are trying to do is to look for a public spirited cause, then create a fake platform, and then use it to siphon money. That's exactly what they do. Because they will not tell you that they distributed it. When you ask how did you distribute, they say, of course, we had to give people that need it. We went and gave randomly. So that's why you don't have records. Are you not supposed? This money is meant to be retired.
Yes.
They will have to retire it.
Yes.
Yeah, they will have to retire it now to the this now when they talk about
You
it.
also have names
So
of
because
people that you
yes,
to.
because it's supposed to count for budget performance.
Yes.
Okay. So who retired it and to what and what record? So if you want to audit this now, how are you going to audit it without record? So I don't think they shared any sanitary pad.
You know, it was Telegram who said,
I did not receive any.
I don't think so.
it was Telegram who said that every evil deed done to man will be redressed, if not now, then certainly later, if not by man, then certainly by God. For the triumph of evil over good can only be temporal. All these people that are doing to the Nigerian state will one day be redressed.
That is karma-like.
Well, all these of us are coming.
I know that karma is.
What are you going to do?
No, karma is hopeless. You understand? Karma is hopeless.
Yeah, but
I've relied on karma. I've relied on karma on several occasions, and I know how karma can be disappointing. And you will just notice that good people are dying.
God bless you.
So I cannot at this stage now rely on karma. It's not reliable.
anyway, of course, I can't also advocate.
She should be prosecuted. She does not have immunity.
Yes.
She does not. Better does not have immunity.
She does not.
All of them that have dipped hand in the cooking jar.
But what does it say that after 25 hours of revelation that your minister spent 45 million organizing a party?
Nothing.
And the president is not that aware.
No query, nothing.
Is he aware?
Well, that's how far we go on this particular topic. When we return, Juror Olajumoke Alawode James will be examining the undying spirit of the 2020 NSAS protest. Stay with us.
Middleman.
And we are back. You're welcome back to the Middleman. Now to my case on ending #NSAS protests. The spirit of the 2020 NSAS protest is still very much alive, not only in what we see today in Kenya, but in West Africa too. In a landmark verdict on Wednesday, 10th of July 2024, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Court of Justice, ruled that the Federal Republic of Nigeria violated the rights of #NSAS protesters at the Lekki toll gate on October 20, 2020. The court found Nigeria in breach of Articles 1, 4, 6, 9, 10, and 11 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. These articles specifically address the right to life, security of person, freedom of expression, assembly and association, prohibition of torture, duty of the state to investigate, and the right to effective remedy. The court also held that live rounds, as alleged by the applicants, were shot into the crowd of unarmed protesters by Nigerian security agents on the evening of October 20, 2020, leading to the deaths of several protesters. Additionally, the court ruled that the Nigerian government must adhere to its obligations under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, investigate and prosecute its agents responsible for these violations, and report to the court within 6 months on the measures taken to implement this judgment. Obianuju Catherine Ude, well known as DJ Switch, alongside 2 other applicants, were awarded 2 million naira compensation each to be paid by the Nigerian government. If you remember, the 8-man Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Restitution for Victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters, headed by retired Justice Doris Okuobi, had submitted a 309-page report in 2021, in which it indicted soldiers and the police, and affirming that security agents killed peaceful protesters. The panel had described the Lekki tollgate incident as a massacre. This had been a matter of controversy, declaring that at least 9 persons were killed by security agents. It listed 48 names as casualties, out of which 22 protesters sustained gunshot injuries, while 15 others were assaulted by soldiers and the police. They say justice delayed is justice denied. The Nigerian government has continued to pretend that avoiding the injustices during the NSAS protest will make them go away. But the way personnel of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have been assaulting and abusing the rights of suspects recently, it reminds one of how lawless SARS operatives operated that eventually culminated in the protest in 2020. Will the Nigerian government finally own up, apologize, punish the guilty officials, and pay compensation to victims? Here is my verdict. This landmark judgment is a ray of light in what has become judicial darkness in Nigeria. Governments don't adhere to court judgments they don't like. And who are you going to arrest? But like the Kenyan youth, Nigerian youths must never give up in demanding good governance. We must continue to seek peaceful and fair ways to address government misroles. 2,000 soldiers cannot kill 2 million youths on the streets. And by the time the government starts using bombs to quell protests because they want to stay on in power against the people's wish, it will be clear to the world that they are guilty of crimes against humanity. Incidentally, Nigeria is the president of ECOWAS. We wait to see what her government will do.
We are in a point where the federal government of Nigeria cannot afford not to obey this judgment. You know why?
Why?
Nigeria is the leader of ECOWAS. So this is the day of reckoning. We know that during the Buhari era, he disobeyed court orders, refused to release people. Yes, you know that. Then this government, not like this government is better, okay, on issue of human rights violation. But right now, we know that the ECOWAS court does not actually have an enforcement arm, no police, ECOWAS police or whatever. But the truth is that at this point in time, if the president does not order that this compensation is paid, this judgment sum is paid, and restitution and enforcement is properly handled, because the court has given the Nigerian government 6 months to do that.
Yes, sir.
It will mean that anything the Nigerian president say as the ECOWAS president
does not carry weight.
Will go to no issue.
It will.
Yeah, to go to no issue. Because if Nigeria cannot obey the ECOWAS court that is resident in Abuja, Nigeria, that drawn up judges from all over West Africa,
ECOWAS,
all over West Africa,
and
a court that is being funded by ECOWAS, okay, and there's a judgment emanating from that court that touches on human rights, which is the essence of governance.
Yes, sir.
And the Nigerian government fails
to obey
that judgment. It will mean that ECOWAS is now completely dead. You know that
we are already saying that they are dead.
Yes.
Because Côte d'Ivoire, Niger, and Mali have already withdrawn.
No, there's a
Burkina Faso.
There's a Sahel and there's an organization,
Alliance of Sahel States.
Alliance of Sahel States, which is supposed to be, if ECOWAS were to be upright, we shouldn't have that in the first place. That is protest. That organization is protest by ECOWAS failings. So perhaps more countries in Africa may join if the Nigerian government refuses to obey this court order. Because what it will mean is that ECOWAS has lost its bearing completely. On democracy, when a president of a country is not governing well, is not doing the right thing, there's bad governance, ECOWAS don't talk. They don't make any statements. When military now take over, throw the president out of the place, they will now come and say they want that country to go back to democracy. Now the citizens are even saying, what do you mean by democracy? In Niger, the citizens are in cahoots with the military.
Yes, but when you were crying on that military,
so
you didn't come and say anything. On that civilian.
So I believe the Attorney General of the Federation understand these dynamics properly. And
we will watch in the next few years.
I mean, he's not doing badly. So what he needs to do now, as the chief law officer of the state,
is to advise his principal.
To call Mr. President and say, Mr. President, we need to obey the order.
Quickly pay all this compensation.
That is the only way to redemption.
And then go back there 6 months after and say, this is what we did though.
Yes.
We have sacked all the military and policemen who were culpable. We have paid.
And remember, this NSAS issue is a case in the British Parliament. I hope you know.
Yes.
It's a case in the British Parliament and the United Nations are watching. In November, when we'll be going back for the meeting, there will be questioned. Because by that time, sufficient time would have passed for them to obey. Otherwise, they should bounce them back from that place. The UN stands for human rights. there's the UN Charter on Human Rights. UN.
The first article is the right to life.
Yes, the right to life, and that is the protocol, and that was violated. 4, 6, 5, 10, 11, all violated by the federal government.
Yes, you see, the Nigerian case is even very dramatic. Now, obeying the ECOWAS court judgment is even one thing. But the fact that Nigeria is pussyfooting in dealing with the issues internally is another. For example, the people who went to shoot those innocent Nigerians, where are they?
They are still in the military.
The army.
Yes, where
they don't bring them out. There was an order.
That's one. Then number 2 is the concern about the point to later, the president being ECOWAS chairman. And there's a binding duty on him to defend democracy. If in a democracy, a judgment of court, burden on human rights cannot be respected, it means the president is undermining democracy. What then will be the justification to see? I mean, we see what's happening to our neighbors. Gabon, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Won't it be laying the groundwork
for the military to talk over?
No, for the untold. Because
for the unknown. For the unknown. Because
you are doing what you're doing, there's something happened to them. Let me explain. You see, the thing is this: for any time anything of that sort happens, there are internal execution people who execute it, and then there are external collaborators. In the case of Niger, Mali, and Co, well, somehow the foreign policy has gone from the west to Russia. Right now, you understand the fact that anybody looking to infiltrate your internal affairs will look for private people within. And they always give reasons for what it is they are doing.
Yes.
You are laying the ground.
I agree.
You are laying the ground for it.
Because even northern Nigeria is cultural. There is cultural affinity with Niger.
Yes, sir. But no, it was northern Nigeria that said when Nigeria wanted to invade.
They told him, they said,
just say where you are. Our neighbors.
No, they didn't call them neighbors.
Our brothers.
You've done to us.
It is also doing it too. Yes, now they said anything. It's also doing it too. So stay clear. All these livestock ministry that are creating, what is that creating them for? They've listed a litany of things that they said.
But I think the situation
they have given him a list
beyond that. Honestly, the North has really Tinubu has seriously shot the and so this exercise case, there are still the report in Anambra has not even been touched at all.
They have to revisit all that.
All the other states. We have not seen their report.
Compensation.
What is a nationally developed of inquiry, not state. It's not a state agency.
It's
that is federal.
Yes.
But it happened in states. You first of all do your inquiries in states.
It's a federal matter.
That is why it's actually the Human Rights Commission that is supposed to handle this.
The reforms that are necessary, right? The people that must learn the lesson and implement reform is not state governor. It is
state governor. Yeah, but in this case, the state governor is an accomplice.
Yes.
Remember?
At the time, the military said that it was Sanwo-Olu that invited them.
At the CNN broadcast.
Yes.
Sanwo-Olu, when he was asked the question,
that who did he invite them?
He said he did not call them. So
they
became angry now. When they resumed on the panel the next week, they now told the panel that was because they were embarrassed. You understand? After that time, they stopped coming because they felt that.
Who's lying? Barrister?
No, the governor called them.
Oh.
The governor called them. He's the one who called them, and they went there. You see, I was in the panel and I was in the NSAS protest. I was in all the part of it, and part of what we discussed this evening on Arise TV, this afternoon on Arise TV, was this same issue. Okay, it's one issue that shook the country. Okay, now if the federal government wants to act like a true big brother of Africa, okay, this order of court is not coming from Nigeria.
It's coming from ECOWAS.
It's 15 countries.
Hey!
15 countries.
But I like it.
You know what it takes. You know what it takes to tell. You know what it takes to tell 15 countries in Africa that they should get out. it will cost you a lot. Forget about the fact that they are African countries. You would think they are not economically relevant.
Yeah.
But if they desert you, you will feel it.
True. Like 3 of them are zero.
The self has already.
Yes. It's better than fire. I hear that they're trading safer now in the north.
Yes.
There's heavy trade within the West African coast.
And once your currency becomes irrelevant to your citizens, your state has failed.
One reason why you have food scarcity here in the south is that a lot of food is being sent
to their brothers.
Because of the power.
Yeah, they have already established what you call economic confederation with other African countries before our very eyes. So now we're counting pepper for you. Why they are selling it?
And we're doing our own here in Lagos.
Big brother.
Fuel that is meant for Badagry is being moved to Togo. And so fuel in Badagry is between 800 and 1,000.
Oh God.
So
this is the reason your surrounding countries, your neighbors, their currency should not be higher than yours.
Yeah.
Because the dynamics will change.
Yeah.
we're actually in a big economic mess.
Yes, there are dynamics will change.
But we're not joking.
The title of my case is The Unending. #NSAS, meaning that this case is not over. We'll continue to follow it. When we return on The Middlemen, Emeka Maduna will be delving into the food scarcity mess in Nigeria. Please stay with us, we'll be right back.
Middleman.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. My case, making sense of Nigeria's food scarcity. The Tinubu administration says it has opened a 150-day tax-free window for the massive importation of food. This is intended to flood the nation's markets with key foodstuffs such as wheat, maize, and rice. Laudable move, right? However, the government hasn't said anything about ramping up local agriculture and deepening agro-processing. The issue of insecurity, especially in the north-central food-producing belt, has been subtly pushed aside with the creation of the new Ministry of Livestock Development. Nobody is talking about the search to all-season food production. Seasonal crops such as tomatoes, pepper, plantains, etc. routinely rise and fall in price, throwing Nigerians into periodic avoidable agony. How about fertilizer and other inputs, tractors and other agricultural equipment, etc.? Who is talking about upgrading and organizing smallholder and subsistence farmers into cooperatives and solid commercial agripreneurs? Who is talking about seriously transiting livestock production into ranching and attendant value chains? Who is addressing insecurity, bad roads, etc.? I get it. We cannot continue to throw cash at problems. Deep thinking solves problems, and sincere action with force society or societies onto higher planes. We need to deal with the issues in the sector creatively. So
President Tinubu seems to go on a lull sometimes and then wakes up suddenly. Because he was the one who said, or also a report, we will implement it. We have an overbloated civil service. Let's compact it. Reduce our ministries. Then Mieti Alan, that we in some days used to call terrorists before they told us to address them as leaders. Now threatening him as there's under the land, our cows, don't have food to eat. We need a Ministry of Livestock, and we need ours. We created a Ministry of Livestock to do what? For who? About who? From which funds? Monies that we are borrowing that has not funded our 28 trillion budget, that we are already thinking of supplementary budget halfway into the year. Where is the money for this livestock going to come from?
For all I know, the issue of livestock is private business.
God bless you.
So why should you have a Ministry of Livestock to cater for private business?
Look, we want a Ministry of Enterprise.
Perhaps we should.
We want a Ministry of Enterprise, Department of Environment,
or Department of Stomach Infrastructure. See, this government is annoying, and the reason I'm saying this is because now you are saying that you want to make food to come in, free duty and all that, and you want to make sure that you populate this place with food and all that. Nobody is talking about the quality control. Those rice they're going to bring, they are 15-year-old rice, 20-year-old rice from Thailand. The Thailand people don't eat it.
Plastic rice.
They don't eat it. You understand? So who's going to look at quality control? Then what happens to our farmers who cannot access their farm because of insurgents? So does it mean that we have closed that chapter and then we're not focused on? How about if the insurgent gets to the
clear out these insurgents and let farmers go to their farms?
Well, because they are their brothers.
Because this ministry of livestock that you're going to create, you know what? It means you're giving the herders a voice in government over and above the farmers. Yes, now, because the money you give to them, who will they give the money to? By the way, in which agricultural book is it written that livestock means cattle stock? Cow stock. Livestock is about fisheries and even snakes.
Government needs to, what government ought to have done was to create a general agriculture. We have Ministry of Agriculture. If they have to intervene, is what I'm saying. Or this look like intervention. They should use the Ministry of Agriculture to intervene to both farmers and livestock. They are all farmers.
Yes. Of course now.
Livestock, cropping.
It is called livestock farming.
So you attend to all of them. Give them seedlings, give them fertilizer. Let them, the ones that have cattle and all that having issues, what are their challenges? So give them soft loans. Yes, to make things work.
Please, I have a question.
But they are private.
Please,
they are private. That's
we have a lot of fishes in river now. Oil pollution has done that. Maybe they should create a ministry of fisheries for us.
Yes, to clean the water. I can't remember the name of the Minister for Agriculture right now.
See where I'm headed to. Under Jonathan, we had Atomumi additional. Under Buhari, we had Auguries, who tried exporting yam and they returned his rotting yam. Under Tinubu, who is the minister?
That's a big question.
Is this table even aware that after Auguries left, the agricultural ministry was building mosques in Borno State?
Yes.
Building mosques in Borno State.
Even
the Ministry of Information
have you finished investing?
Even the schools that evangelist schools that Jonathan built.
Yeah.
The moment he left, they converted them to mosques.
Oh my goodness.
A center for Islamic studies. Okay, and this thing we keep looking at this direction all the time, but the money spent in those things are not utilized. So why don't you exterminate insurgency and then take our farmers back to farm? Because the truth is that it's rainy season now and the farmers are at home. They don't have $4 million to give insurgents to go to farm because you have to pay before you start growing crops.
Rather than government to do play their role of protecting lives and property.
They are dodging.
They are buying sanitary pads and creating Ministry of Livestock.
And then they want to remove duty so that a lot of food will come into the country.
From anywhere. Just bring in the food. Nigerians are the waste dump.
And this food we are talking about, they use serious chemicals to store them in the silos. So when you say life expectancy in Nigeria is 47, you need to ask yourself, where did we acquire this from? You understand? Cancer and the rest of that. And we don't have public health care.
We don't. Overseas is part of food insecurity. Because we are not secure. But my question is, what does it cost the president to order troops into places where bandits and deal with them decisively?
You know the funny thing, right?
What does it take?
If the Nigerian police is looking for anybody on X, they will find you quickly in 24 hours. They will bring you from your house. But it's so that we've never known where they've been in the last 15 years.
No, there are some people they've not seen.
No one have been
the man who disappeared with the 40 billion in the bank, the commercial bank.
They're still looking for him.
That's it. He and his wife disappeared.
And then there was no snake swallowed.
They said they swallowed millions in jam.
They haven't found
the snake.
Oh God.
There's another one again.
The monkey that
swallowed millions hasn't been found. So take note. It's not it can be
the Ministry of Livestock.
So why are we playing with our future? That's what I'm trying to expand on. We are playing with our future, we're playing that the future of our children and all that. This is not fair on the younger generation. I know that we're a spent generation. We are gone already, we're finished. But must we bequeath emptiness to the people coming behind?
Is that not the same thing that happened with the generation before when Shoyinka must be declared? That was a wasted generation.
Shoyinka now cannot analyze Tinubu.
I
It's not sure you can't responsibility to analyze.
But the problem is that in 1 year you will analyze. It's not that well.
The next first, what is he analyzing?
I have it's today, yes, actually, yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, sir.
It's tomorrow. Would you like the thing is tomorrow?
Happy birthday,
We
sir.
meet Professor Shirika happy birthday.
We can't side of our mouth.
No, all of us.
We can't side of our mouth.
Yeah, could give conversation.
Yes, we wish. That in faith.
When will you analyze Tinubu?
Let me put the line from this.
Let's quote more line from
Just to I said, in vain your bangles cast. Charm circles at my feet. I am Abiku calling for the first and the repeated time.
Abiku. Then let me give you Pepe Clark's own.
Okay.
Coming and going this several seasons. Do stay out of the bar battery. Follow where you please your kindred spirit. If indoors is not enough for you.
Yeah.
So we're happy that we have them, but they should be consistent in what they do.
Yes.
So that we don't take this thing out of it.
Yeah. Okay. When we return, Juror Evans Ofeli, the juror from Rabbi, will be traveling back in time to present the case of our ancestors. Please don't go anywhere.
Middleman. You are welcome back again to the Middleman on Enterprise TV. My case. Hello, jurors. This case was filed here by our forefathers, and after implicit adjournments, the judgment is ready. Our ancestors had made a strong case worthy of a judgment. Their prayers are that this generation should see this and take instructions therefrom. Our forefathers. When strange or bad things happen, they ask God questions. They don't thank him. When they want food, they go to the farm. They don't go to pray at their shrines. When any of them commits a sin, he is punished to deter others from doing the same. They don't tell God to forgive him. When they want money, they sell their farm produce. They don't pray to God to give them. When they are sick, they go to a herbalist or make use of herbs and roots. They don't wait for miracles. When they want a wife, they investigate the would-be in-laws. They don't pray in their shrine for signs and wonders. When one of them dies, they come together and bury him. They don't calculate and request the payment of his shrine levies before burial. The village chief priest has his farm and works to sustain his family. He does not wait for tithes and offerings. Their wife respects and call their husband Nediani, Daddy, Babawa, and not the chief priest. They don't call him chief priest as a name. Our ancestors never built a $1 billion house for their God and live in trenches. Rather, they built poor huts because God does not need a house. So this way, our ancestors lived happy lives. My verdict. Perhaps it is time to adopt some or all of these ways of life and embrace its redemptive values. I shall go to Rabbi again.
Daddy, what? Maybe you want us to be calling our husbands Lord, like Sarah called Abraham.
Yeah.
So you have a fantastic point in your case, but cultures evolve, right? Societies develop, they move on. I say that if the colonialists had allowed us to develop in our own ways, our own traditional religion, the Ifa, that we knew, the what's the Igbo one that I love?
Amadioha.
That one that we strike you immediately and we not wait. You know, if they just allowed us. But again, I do not like to blame the colonialists for things that they did to us hundreds of years ago. What have we been doing to ourselves since independence?
Well, for me, the simplicity of that rustic civilization holds some sort of nostalgic appeal about its purity, its originality, its whole essence as authentically African, you know.
True.
And because it was a time we now look back with
nostalgia
and good feeling.
Yeah, true.
That it was a time when, as it were, men worked as angels. Okay. Yes, but you have now taken it into the colonial aberration and things like that. I think that the greatest undoing that our interaction with Western civilization did was that we didn't know where to draw the fine line between what we could retain and what we shouldn't retain. So we sort of threw everything away together. Our own civilization, including culture, including technology, including medicine, including language, for example,
true, very true.
Taxonomy, you know, everything fell away. For example, when they came to besiege, lay siege to Benin, they could not, at the first instance, succeed.
True.
They were beaten back. They left, then they came back. Now, Benin, Bonny, and some of those places were places where they had already erected, street lighting with palm oil and things like that. So, but then China didn't have even the Great Wall.
Yes. France didn't have a street light then.
We are successors to a very illustrious and dynamic past. Except that even today, the link between who we used to be and who we are is blood.
Has been eroded.
What now? Ifa?
Yeah, well, so
what is Ifa? Ifa corpus.
Of course, I get what. Yeah, so what?
Yes.
So what we ought to have done. I mean, a very celebrated elderly person, a friend, we like call him that, said one time what we should have done was to transfer the wealth of knowledge that the West brought into our own language and transfer our own body of knowledge into Western, so that we can equalize. Yes, because ours what was a disruption that we find difficult
to go back to.
When people even argue and say
corruption too.
Yes, when okay, for example, I come from a place that we now call Okreka local government area. There is no word like Okreka in my local language.
Oh.
You hear something like Bonny, it's an English word. And there are many of them like that.
It's like Eko and Lagos.
Harristown. There are many places like that. Yes, Peterside, for example. That's what's it called? Yeah, but you know now it's called Peterside. So there are a lot of things like that when the white skin, because they couldn't pronounce or properly integrate with us,
they changed the name.
A protege of mine is in the UK. When she told them her name was Yimika, they couldn't pronounce it.
And they changed it to what?
She used my son's name. She now said, okay, she is Johanna. Because my boy's name is Johan. She just used it like that, just off the cuff, and they can pronounce Johanna, but they can't pronounce Yimika.
I will force them to pronounce
it. They cannot.
No, I'm coming.
I will force them to pronounce it.
They can. If I learn to
pronounce the point. So, good.
Or Schwarzenegger.
I'm coming now. There is, and you know this argument. In fact, I will make a case of this next week. This matter runs deeper than that. You see, the thing that will make them call you your name as they ought to call you isn't because you force them to call you their name. There's what they call cultural reappropriation. We must communicate back to them, not by word of mouth, but by how we build ourselves into a formidable force, economically, politically, and culturally, so that they can respect. Is it because they don't have what you? Are you not in their country?
Yeah, and but if
they should have been was looking out to lead us.
Yeah, if you also support them with that deficiency, when they say they cannot pronounce it, and you begin to empathize with them,
and then change your name,
you support the deficiency, and you make them to get it the way they want to pronounce it, you're also shortchanging yourself. True. Because the truth is that how did we come about the Pidgin English? The Pidgin English was a contact between the natives and the English people. Anytime two language contacts, they produce a third one. A third one, that is the broken one, that is now commonly used and commonly understood. You understand?
Yeah.
So wherever we go to, we should be able to tell them who we are and where we came from.
I agree.
I've been in a room where you have all Caucasians, and the moment they introduce we introduced ourselves and we were asked to talk. I was the first person that started talking because I will not give them any space to debase me or whatever it is. And if you tell me I don't get the pronunciation right. If you tell me I don't get the pronunciation right, then I will tell you that I'm not an Englishman. I'm from Etwa. And in Etwa, we don't speak English. We speak Okwane. That's what my allegiance is first to my tribe.
When I did internship at an American newspaper in 2001, the editor, when I told him my name, he said, try. I said, Emka. I said,
try again.
I said, so he now got a pronunciation and said, okay, if I call Emka, I said, at least you know I'm the one, and I know I'm the one you're referring to. And that was how we carried on.
So they can't say Emeka.
No, they couldn't say that.
Well, maybe, but the point is that come.
At least rather than changing his name to John.
Chinese now.
We can pronounce
that.
that.
Cassava, packing our maize. Caucasians are learning our languages.
True.
Wearing our clothes.
True.
For strategic objective, national interest, not because they don't have anything else to do anyway.
Our culture is attractive.
Our culture is attractive.
Very attractive. As I talk to you now, TDJs, the popular TDJs you know,
yes,
wears the Nigerian so native to preach Wednesdays and Sundays now.
Because he had been traced to somewhere.
Anambra. He went to Anambra not too long ago because he traced his route to Anambra and he went to his own village. The village his great-grandmother told his grandmother about, and his father and all that. So he went there.
I'm from Miami.
Now the truth is that the truth is
I
that
want to trace my
when the ancestors filed this case, because I have to tell you what I went through. When the jurors know, you have to take this serious. When our forefathers,
so blacks can trace their root.
So when our ancestors filed this case, I took my time to analyze the issues, and what I found out was that there's a decline in moral value. Yes, there's a decline in moral value. In those days, you dare not get pregnant at certain age.
Oh,
true. They will excommunicate your father, your mother, everybody out of the place. But today, you see a girl that's in Jesus to has 2 children. In Jesus to, and it's carrying on like it's a normal. Yes, and it's kind of you have baby mamas everywhere.
Who are living in?
Yeah, then you have
23 million naira houses.
Then you have music that the lyrics are
you.
They are you hear all kinds of things. So we have adopted this kind of lifestyle. We have adopted. It's not the one that will take us very far. That's what I meant. So if not going back to all, we could go back and pick some very credible lessons.
But you know that
about the past.
If you want to enslave the people, you bring religion, because the core of any human being, right, is their belief system. So, and in the heart of your culture, right, is your language, your food, your attires.
Yeah.
But once they can hit your belief system, tell you that the way you see the Almighty,
that will alter the culture.
Is dark, is backward. It will alter your worldview.
Yes.
Of everything else.
Yes.
For instance, the houses in the north, right? Even the majority of them are Muslims. The ones who are Christians, you will find that they still wrap a shawl. They are not Hijabites. But we will think that all of them are Muslims because they have that shawl around them. It's because it's their culture. Now, their religion is very similar in terms of culture to their indigenous culture. So it was easier for them to adapt. Right? You will find Yoruba Muslims, right? Muslims in the south. The northerners think that these ones, they don't even know the religion.
Yes.
Because the culture is a little different. Do you get what I mean? So the people who came and told us they could not pronounce our names, our food, how can you eat with your hand? Look, as a child, I hated Eba and pounded. There are the things I enjoy the most now as an adult that have come into myself.
We should not use our hand. They should not go there.
Yeah, so the Chinese that are using chopsticks.
They shouldn't go there.
Look, I wanted to eat amala this afternoon. They gave me spoon. The thing wasn't working well.
No, it can't work.
I was very fele.
It cannot work.
You know.
There's a joy in my language. They say meaning what it means that the right hand is the king of food. You understand?
So
I can't abandon that for any other.
So we the people must. But again, what's Nigerian culture?
Nigeria have a culture.
If Nigeria,
no, Nigeria itself, it's not even.
It's an amalgamation of culture.
Yes, it's not what you call Nigeria.
That's why we cannot even push on.
But the nation now, the nations, the respective nations have their indigenous culture,
and that is why.
And those they still practice it. Okay.
Sure.
If you look at it, the Yorubas, there's a way they dress with their native wear attire and all that. Their food is different. They are the owners of the amala you talked about. They invented and all that. You go to you see the disparity everywhere.
Yeah.
Telling you that we are not really one people in terms of our culture and all that. So there's diversity.
Yeah.
That diversity is supposed to count for us as a blessing. But it's not, unfortunately, because we are not really cohesive. Okay. But the bottom line is of this whole thing is that if we had retained some of our moral values, by now we may not even need to. We will have shops that are unmanned. Because we want to buy something,
that's how we
drop
used
the money and
what can we do? Because corruption is now a culture in Nigeria.
I know what I'm saying, we've lost all that already now.
So we cannot get it back.
No, that part you can't retain that part. Except you are going to use a CCTV. Your CCTV is now what used to be this thing there. You put CCTV there. And anybody that want to buy, but now we have cars that are unmanned. Maybe we are still going back there. But because you don't have a car that could drive you.
Yeah.
Without a driver, you order it, you come and pick you from your house, go and drop you where I want to drop you and all that. Maybe we are going back
Technology.
there.
My intervention, again, continue from where I stopped earlier, would be to say that because we've been there before, we can recreate it. And very easily so. All what you take is determination and purpose. You are talking earlier.
Can we recreate it when our mind is like this? Because in those days, part of why people were compliant was because the deities were watching over. People believe that you'll be struck dead if you.
Now
that our mind is messed up. You see that question I asked?
Yeah.
You're asking that question because your mind have been injected with all other. You have been told that is a dead god.
Well, because can a god really be killed if those gods were as powerful as we claim? We shouldn't be making a case for them today. They will speak for themselves. A matter like that came up in the Bible when they said, Baal, don't throw down Baal's altar, and they wanted to kill Gideon. They said, well, if Baal is God, let him speak for himself. And Baal was dumb. My thinking is that
you know that if Baal had not been answering his congregants before, they will not be so frustrated that they were cutting themselves. He obviously had been answering them before.
My parents.
It was just Elijah was more powerful.
My parents. My parents
was more powerful. He sent Baal to sleep.
He shut them out.
He said Baal, not to
my parents were paid medicine dealers in my hometown. So one thing that you call that in the name of one God, they're healing people. They will come to our shop, but describe the sickness, we'll give them the drug, they go and pound it. Then tell the people to lick it or do something, put it in your food or whatever. So we know how to have that this one. Yeah, you say it was a God that answered. In my place, they say, oh, you know what that means? Let us hear what? That it was what the native doctor told his gods. When people come, he will give them answer. He will listen to the case. You know, people are very good psychologists. They will listen. Then tell them what to do. They will listen. So one day, the man was sick or something happened. Then he had a voice talking to, let us hear what Jerry. People have come and have been want to tell me what to do. Now I want to come and tell me what to do.
Are you sure it's not the Christian Crusaders who told you this one?
Which Christian Crusaders? Christians are not Crusaders.
That's not Europe.
No.
They are not. They are not Crusaders.
Let's not be lying very close with something.
That's in his format. Yeah, there are churches where
that's UK carried Christianity. The Roman Empire, what did you think they were doing all over the world?
Can I ask you a question?
Tell us.
Can any of us on this table sincerely say that in light of Aristophanes' case, let us roll back Western education and take it back to them?
No.
That's not
what he said.
That's not what
in light of
we can still call our husband that.
So what we can do is to draw a line. So what can be to draw a line between
merge the two of them?
No. What is, if you went into any culture, there are things you take, there are things you leave behind. If Because I'm not happy with the loss, with the complete loss.
Yeah.
That I don't subscribe to African religion does not mean that we cannot take back what was indigenous to us in terms of culture. And
why you are not even subscribing to the African religion is because they sold their religion.
No,
it has become your core belief system.
There was some
religion is
African traditional religion
that we do not accept. I mean, there's some things in Christianity. Is the Christian God a fair God? Can we all say that is a fair
God? It's a just God.
It's a just God.
And it's a fair God also.
No.
We have come. That's all on the Middleman today. I appreciate you, my fellow jurors, for being on the show today. To our viewers, thank you for watching. You may join us next time by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV 7 and visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. See you next time. Goodbye from us.
Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.